So if you watched my very first video, you probably heard me briefly talk about Dylan and I eloping back in August. So I thought it would be fun to make a video explaining that process, a little bit about our experience, some tips if it's something that you are considering doing, as well as why we chose to do it ourselves. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Why did we decide to elope? So after so many thoughts and discussions on what would be best for us, we decided eloping was going to be the best route. One of the reasons we decided to elope is because it is budget friendly. Not that it's cheap by any means, because you are still having to pay for travel expenses, your ceremony there, if you're having one, unless you're just going to a courthouse, you will still have those costs. However, with choosing to elope, we chose somewhere where we could also have our honeymoon take place as well. So yes, we did pay for the traveling portion of it, but that covered not only the venue, the beach, but also our honeymoon as well. So that was kind of a more budget-friendly option that worked well for us. Another reason we decided to elope is because we are very to ourselves. I myself get a little bit of anxiety around big groups of people. It kind of stresses me out a little bit. Just the thought of all of the planning that goes into it, everyone staring at you, having a ton of people in one place, trying to meet everyone's needs. It just did not excite me at all, so that was another big reason. And I think one of the main reasons that we chose to elope is because it's just more intimate. It's more personable. You don't have to worry about anyone else around. It's just the two of you there. And it was just such a special moment that I wouldn't trade for the world. We both enjoyed it so much, and I without a doubt would do it 1,000 times over. Okay, so now you get to the planning portion of the elopement. So I have plenty of tips for that. They are in no particular order. These are just little things that you may not think of whenever you are in the process of deciding if an elopement is for you and your partner or not. The first thing on my list is going to be family and friends. Be prepared to feel a little bit of guilt. Not everyone is going to be happy with the decision. Yes, at the end of the day, if they truly love you, they're gonna support you no matter what, but people are gonna be upset. They may have their feelings hurt, so just be prepared for that. Another thing I didn't think of whenever we were weighing out the pros and cons of making this decision was dress shopping. So, you watch all of these wedding shows like Say Yes to the Dress, stuff that's just on TV, and you see people with their sisters and their sister-in-laws and their mom and grandma and all of those people that get to be with you in that special moment of choosing the perfect dress. However, I did not get that. I went dress shopping alone because we made the decision to keep it personal, let people know after the actual ceremony took place. So dress shopping on your own isn't as fun. You don't really get those opinions. If you do choose to tell a few people in your family, which we did, I did send pictures of the dress after I tried it on and decided that was the one to those close people. But other than that, you just don't have that experience at this, dress boutique. I may be pronouncing that wrong. But that is another thing to keep in mind. I loved my dress. I wouldn't trade it. It was the perfect dress for me, but just keep in mind, you will more than likely be dress shopping alone should you decide to elope and still get an actual wedding dress. Another thing is to decide on a location. You'll want to decide if you want it to be hot, if you want it to be cold, if you want it to be a little bit in between, what type of scenery you're wanting. You may want to get married in the mountains. You may want to take the route we did and get married at the beach. There are a lot of different options there. So choose what type of weather you're wanting, and then you'll want to decide if you're wanting it to be driving distance, if you're okay with flying. And just know if you do fly, you'll have to make arrangements for your dress. Is it a dress that can easily be folded? Is it a dress that you have to put on a hanger and take as a carry-on? I don't really know the details on that. My particular dress, the material it was stretchy, so it came in its little dress cloth case. There has to be a name for that. I can't think of what that's called. But it came in that, so I was easily able to fold it and stick it in my suitcase, and it did not wrinkle at all. So just keep those little things in mind. My next tip, if this is an option for you and it fits your budget, hire a wedding planner. Of course, do your research first and weigh out the pros and cons of what each one has to offer. So you'll want to know what's included. Are they going to help you find a location? Are they going to get you set up with your officiant? I may be pronouncing that wrong as well. But your person who is going to legally marry the two of you and make it official. You want to make sure all of that is set in place. What add-ons do they have? For instance, are they able to order bouquets for you? Will they find vendors for you, such as musicians, photographers, videographers? Will they help you find the perfect location, which really matters. That's something I did not take into account, and I'm so glad we had a wedding planner for that reason, because you can look up online popular places in so-and-so. For instance, we went to Hawaii, so there are so many popular, beautiful locations in Hawaii that you could get married. However, with not being a local, with not being there daily to see what the crowds are like, you don't know how many people are gonna be there that day. So they were able to guide us in a direction of a beautiful location that wasn't packed with people, so we could still get those perfect pictures and still have that intimate ceremony. And then you also want to see, what is the correspondence going to be like leading up to the event? Are you going to be talking daily, monthly? Do you get updates? So with ours, we spoke, I would say monthly, if not multiple times per month. Anytime that we had questions, we would just shoot them an email. We got a quick response. I never felt lost throughout the process. So without that wedding planner, I honestly don't know how I would have done it. They helped all the way up from our first phone interview leading up to the event to the actual event itself, helping us walk to our location, making sure we were separated beforehand so we didn't see each other. They were just amazing, and if you could find a wedding planner as good as ours, I would recommend them over and over again. Another huge, I cannot express this enough, huge thing that I would suggest is to research the legal details of the marriage process for wherever you're going to be getting married. What does the officiant need from you? Do you have to have an in-person appointment whenever you get there? What documents do you need to send over? How far in advance do you need to do it? All of that stuff, of course, will differ depending on where you're going. However, you'll want to make sure that you have all of that set up and in place and ready for the day you get there, because the last thing anyone would want in this situation is to have missed something and then to not be able to do the main thing that you came to that place to do. Another tip of mine would be to hire a videographer and a photographer, especially if your family and friends aren't going to be there. They're still going to want to see that intimate moment, see what took place, see the scenery around you. And that was another thing that our wedding planner helped us with. They helped us find a videographer, they helped us find a photographer, and they got that all set up. They coordinated the day, time, location, all of that stuff. So it took so much stress off of our shoulders, and now we have those memories that we're able to go back and look at and watch for the rest of our lives. So that would be a suggestion of mine, is to hire a videographer and photographer, if not one or the other, and you will not regret it. Another big tip of mine is do not forget your vows or your rings at home. That is something that we dealt with firsthand. As soon as we got to the airport, got through security, went to that long process that's involved with flying, Dylan reaches in his pocket and realized he did not grab his vows. So we decided to write our own vows, and we both handwrote them. I brought mine was in my luggage, but Dylan forgot his, so he had actually typed his up as well. So fortunately, we were able to have his mom go back on that computer that he typed up those vows on and send him a picture of them. So that is just one thing I would recommend, is to not forget anything at all that you are going to need on your wedding day. Another suggestion I have is to make sure to coordinate how you guys will be getting to the ceremony. So for us, the decision to elope, of course, wasn't the traditional way most couples get married. However, we still wanted that special moment of not seeing each other until the ceremony, being surprised, all of those things that you think of whenever you think about getting married. So Dylan was using one half of the room to get ready. I was using the other half with the hair and makeup artists that were in our room, and we kind of had it blocked to where he couldn't see me, I couldn't see him. And the videographer was doing his thing with Dylan as well, recording him as he got ready, all of that stuff. So we weren't paying attention to each other. So all of that worked out well. So our thing was, one of us was going to drive in the rental car to the ceremony location, and then the other person was going to just Uber there. Well, whenever it came down to it, after we were both all ready to go and the time for our ceremony was getting closer and closer, I started getting very overwhelmed with the thought of walking out of the room, into the elevator, into the hotel lobby, and then out to the valet area where there are just tons of people, and feeling like people might stare at me. I'm wearing a wedding dress in a hotel by myself, walking out, getting in an Uber, because I wanted Dylan to be able to drive the rental car. So I was like, all right, well, I'll just take an Uber. Well, no, it didn't work out that way. I panicked. I was like, I'm not taking an Uber. I'm not walking out of this hotel by myself, because I'm just so embarrassed. Like, I need someone with me. So it came time for Dylan to leave. So I walked up to the videographer and I told him, hey, you're obviously going to the same place as me. Can we please just walk out together? I don't want to drive there alone. I don't want to walk out of this hotel lobby alone. It's just awkward for me. I'm a very awkward person, and this is taking it to a whole nother level. So he said yes, that was totally fine. Well, after that, I thought to myself, well, I wonder if Dylan could just have the valet guys pull up the car into the little foyer type thing, go and get in, and then since the videographer is still in the room, I will have him go and tell Dylan that I'm gonna be riding with him, walk out with me to the car, and we'll make sure that Dylan knows not to turn around. So it happened exactly like that. The valet driver pulled up the car, Dylan went and got in, he turned to the left the entire time. I walked out, I peeked around the corner, made sure Dylan was not looking, got in the back seat, I sat directly behind him the entire drive, and we did not look at each other. It was a really cool experience. That doesn't happen often, and it was just so funny the way that it all played out. He was in the front seat saying he wanted to turn around so bad. I was saying it's so hard not to look in the rearview mirror at him. So it was just a really cool experience. It was something unexpected, and it's just a little memory we'll never forget. And then once we got to the ceremony location, our wedding planners walked up to our car. One got me out, walked me around somewhere where Dylan wouldn't see me, and then the other went and got him and walked him down to the ceremony site itself. So we were still able to have that walk down the aisle, all of that good stuff. Another suggestion I have that we did ourselves was to have a reception whenever you get back. We thought it would be fun to just hang out with people, get to celebrate our marriage with everyone around us, but with a smaller amount of pressure than having a huge wedding. So that was really fun. Everyone still got that little experience of being around us, celebrating our marriage. We did it about a month later. We wore the exact same things that we wore at our wedding. So I wore my wedding dress. He wore his cute little button down, suspenders, khakis, all of that. The only difference was we had to wear shoes, because at our wedding, of course, we walked down the beach barefoot, but that was the only difference. So yeah, that was a really fun experience, and I would highly recommend that if that's something you're able to fit into your budget whenever you guys get home and settled and back from your wedding. So my last tip would be to remember why you're there and what you're there to celebrate. Don't get so caught up in the little details. It is very easy to stress and to worry, and that is inevitable, but just make the best of every moment, because even if you have little hiccups here and there, which of course you're going to, it's going to happen, there's no way around it, you're gonna look back and laugh at those times and realize that those are what made that day so special. And also make sure that you realize that your elopement is just as special as a huge ceremony. So don't discredit yourself for making that decision. It's an awesome decision, it's a fun decision, it's not for everyone, and that's okay. But it worked so well for us, and I would highly recommend it to anyone who may be considering going down that same route. All right guys, that wraps up this video. I hope you enjoyed hearing a little bit about our elopement experience, why we chose to do what we did, and some tips to help you if it's something that you're considering as well. If you liked it, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, comment any suggestions you may have, and subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I will see you guys next time. Bye guys.